You may say Christ is king, and you may say that you're speaking in truth, but are you really speaking in truth? And is Christ your king? The reason why I'm bringing this phrase and this statement out is because, as you guys know, Candace Owens has used this phrase so many times, and she always claims about speaking in truth. But for one thing, I've realized that she has not been honest with a lot of us and many things. And today, I'm going to show you one of the things that I've noticed in her podcast that she lied. There's other things too, which I will. But this one I really want to show you guys because I had to wait a couple of days, few days. I had to wait a couple of days and even hours. How much this woman has been deceiving us and how she's not been telling the truth and just say things that are not fact checked, that have no evidence, that are just based on assumptions, and that are just going based on her vibe and her feelings. You know, if you know, you know, you know. But then if somebody have a feeling though, she goes like fact over feelings. Well, today we're gonna do that. Evidence over feelings. So if you guys are aware, this clip going around on X/Twitter, it's about Candace Owens talking with a host from CNN. She's a journalist, and her name is El Reeve. And apparently, from the beginning, the interview was going to be about a book deal, but then there was some things that they talked about regarding Charlie Kirk and his assassination. When I watched this video, the first thing that came up to mind was like, "Oh, girl, you lied to us, you know? And why do you keep talking about this? Like, please stop talking about this until you get all your information correct." And this is what I'm going to show you guys about. Take take a look of it and let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe because you guys subscribing is really motivating me to do more video like this and also to expose the lies that some of these influencers that we have believed, that we have even trusted to share information with that have been deceitful, that are lying. That's helped me to expose the lies that some of these influencers have been saying, have been telling us. And this is why I'm encouraging you guys to have critical thinking, to think for yourself, and if to ask God to give you discernment and to know the truth. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But you have to test everything, test every spirit, take everything with a grain of salt.
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious.
And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
But do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
The indictment calls them text messages.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer, like typing it out back and forth?
That's exactly what it is. The feds made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law enforcement?
Leaks.
Okay.
No.
Has anyone leaked to you?
And Tyler Robinson
But has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these?
I have very strong sources everywhere on both sides.
Well, I look forward to seeing the evidence of that.
Sure. Because when we keep talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the mainstream media? Like who are you expecting to come out?
Yes, that would be a hot story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, like if I had a source telling me, like if I had proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world and we know how stories get shut down.
So as you can see from the video, Ella Reeves mentions about the Discord messages that she talked about on her show, and she even tweeted about it. And she even asked about it and if she was aware that the indictment says that there were text messages. Candace Owens' response was, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Well, my question is, if you don't know, why are you talking? You know? And to me, that was when I was like, okay, this woman is clearly lying to her audience. Because how come she's talking about something that she's not familiar with? And then a couple hours later, Candace Owens tweet back because the clip went viral. And she says that, first of all, the whole interview was scheduled days. You know, it was scheduled even before, she didn't even know, even before Charlie Kirk assassination. And the whole interview was going to be about her book. She says this was days before Charlie Kirk assassination, and they did the interview 20 days after his assassination. And according to her tweet, she said she wanted no question about Charlie Kirk or his assassination. No question about Charlie Kirk. Well, that was a lie. Because Ellie Ray brought receipts, okay? She
According to
brought
her
proof,
rep.
okay? Candace Owens rep. This is what I said. Ellie Reeves says, for clarity, Owens via her rep did agree to talk about Charlie Kirk before our interview. So that means Candace Owens did agree to talk about Charlie Kirk in the interview. And let me show you more, because in the screenshot that Ellie Reeves provided, it says that at 9 a.m., Ellie asked if it was okay to talk about Charlie Kirk, since she's still doing her own investigation about his assassination. And then Candace Owens' rep responded by saying, oh, thank you. So long Charlie is discussed in a tasteful way. That's fine. I understand you still have to ask. I would just like to keep it up to 1 or 2 questions. So it looks like Candace Owens did agree to talk about Charlie Kirk. What makes me mad is that she goes to her show. Again, this is why I'm calling you guys to think critically and to do your own research about whatever she's talking about on her podcast. She goes to her podcast and says that she only had this interview a couple days after Charlie Kirk's assassination.
CNN has cut these clips because they think they're embarrassing to me. So there's this young woman, she's the same age as me. Elle Reeve is her name. And I'm going to also be clear. I got very testy in this interview because it was a couple of days after Charlie was killed. First interview I was giving, just worked out that it was CNN. It wasn't about Charlie Kirk, but we had set this up before. And I decided to keep the appointment. You know, I hadn't been sleeping, I hadn't been eating. And this woman, I guess, decided that she just wanted to poke a bear. Anyways, she's the one passing around this clip because she thinks it totally embarrasses me and shows that I'm a white nationalist. Take a listen.
You can criticize Netanyahu without being anti-Israel, and you can criticize.
You acknowledged, I don't know about you, but to me, when somebody says like a couple days, that means, 3 or 4, So if she says like she only had a couple days, she only did this couple days after Charlie Kirk assassination. So that means like she only did it like 2 to 4 days after Charlie Kirk assassination. And I see a lot of people believing her word. But if you look at the screenshot that Ella Reeve shared on X, it shows you that they talked about this 10 or even 16 days just to make sure they're on point, they're on the same page. And you can see Ellie Reeve even asked if it would be okay with this, and she's agreeing with it, that we can talk about Charlie Kirk. So she was already aware about what's going on, and it's been more than 4 or 5 days since Charlie Kirk assassination, and so she does this interview. She goes on her podcast, lies about the date, lies again, again and again and again. And this is frustrating. Is when are you going to stop lying, Candace? When are you going to start being truthful? You talk about being truthful, but you're not being truthful. And it makes me sad that I see her fans are defending her. They're defending her. They're even calling other people that are criticizing her like jealous. We're envious. We're not. We're not envious of Candace. We're not jealous of her. We just want her to be truthful because she talks about being truth, but then she's not showing any truth in her podcast. She's spilling some truth, but with lies. And that is deceptive. That is not honest. And that really destroys her credibility. To me, it makes me not be fond of her anymore. It makes me not listen to hear her anymore. You're attacking other media and other people saying they're not being honest and they're lying, they're twisting word, but then you're doing the very thing that you're accusing them of. Then what are you? Aren't you in the same boat as they are? Aren't you the same group as they are? You should really take a look at yourself first before you start accusing others of lying, of twisting words, of twisting evidence, of twisting proof. Because according to the screenshot, it tells me that she was aware of what's going on. Like she knows. But she's just lying. She's lying to you guys. She's saying things that are not truthful. This was not done a couple days. It was done 16 days later. Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th, and we see a screenshot that they were talking on September 22nd. That's more than 4 or 5 days. And then she says, like, on the podcast, oh, she's been testing. No, Candace, you're not being tested. It's somebody that is asking questions based on what you said, but you don't like those questions, and you feel like you're getting cornered because they're exposing you, and so therefore you're getting frustrated, you're feeling testing. You got to stop being honest, Candace. There's many people who believed you, but now they're not believing you anymore because of your lies. And you got to stop lying. Bring those receipts, like you said. And another thing I want to bring up is the fact that there was another person. Her name is Alex Clark. Alex Clark tweeted a post after Candace Owens was trying to defend herself. She said that when she did an interview with the Wall Street Journal a week later after Charlie Kirk died, Candace Owens accused her, like I said, publicly. Candace Owens accused her publicly, saying that her timing and her tone was icky, insinuating that her and TPUSA were somehow exploiting Charlie's death to advance their mission. which is ironic because the person who's been exploiting Charlie Kirk's assassination is Candace. She's been making assumptions about people, about things. She talked about the 12 Israelis that were on the campus the day that Charlie Kirk died. She talked about the planes. She talked about Egypt, about the military. She even mentioned Mr. Beast. Not saying that Mr. Beast was involved, but in her other episode, she talks about Mr. Beast. It's like, what are you trying to do? What are you getting at? What is the point of you? What are you exploiting this mother? And my problem is also is that some people are getting mad at TPUSA and other members always saying like they're not doing anything. They're under investigation. I don't know if you guys are aware with the legal process, but most of the time when there's an investigation going on, you don't really want to talk about it in case you mess it up. Especially if there's going to be a trial coming out, you don't really want to talk about it because you don't want to get the defense team the upper hand. Because in court, in front of the jury, the whole point of the defense team is to make the jury doubt. So if the jury start doubting that Tyler Robinson was not the one who assassinated Charlie Kirk, and it was another group or another organization or somebody else that was on it, they're probably going to let him go free. That's going to mess up the whole trial and the whole investigation process. That's going to mess up everything. And they might as well just make him not guilty. And that's why it's so important whenever there's an investigation going on, especially if it's going to go to trial, you don't talk about it. You don't want to mess things up. Because if the jury start doubting, that's it. That's done. There's a high chance that the plaintiff won't win. There's a high chance that people who are trying to bring justice won't get the justice. So this is why you also see TPUSA and even Erica Kirk and other people, they're not talking about this because you don't want to mess it up. There's a lot that goes on. And for Candace Owens to talk about this, it's absurd. It's really absurd. We understand he was your friend, but to bring nothing, to talk about nothing and make nothing out of something without evidence, without facts, without, you know, concrete information, it just shows the lack of morals you have and also the credibility. And then also, it makes me question your character. It makes me question your integrity. This is why I want you guys to have to listen to be careful who you allow to influence your life. Like right now, Candace Owens has like about like 5 million subscribers, and so many people are tuning into her. But what they fail to realize is she's just giving smoke screen. She's just giving smoke. There's no fire. If you know, you know. She's just going on based on her vibe, feelings, even though she's the one that says fact over feelings. I wonder where those facts are at. And at the same time, she's making these claims that are getting debunked, that people are literally like exposing her, saying how there's lies. She's also making claims that even putting certain people's life in danger. I don't know about you, but if I were you, I would be very careful listening to this woman. Yes, in the past she was right. Yes, in the past she has said things that were truth. But these days, you gotta question her. You gotta double guess. You gotta really take everything that she said with a grain of salt. Because another thing she mentions about the gag order, she was not given the gag order. She's an external commentator. The gag order was not to her. It was for everyone that attended the campus, and including anybody that is aware of what's going on that was on it during that day. Just be careful who you listen to. If you're Christian, be really careful of these so-called conservatives who claim to be Christian, but then they don't really show it in the podcast. They don't really show it. They don't really show it. They just say things that have no evidence. You have to be really careful with these so-called conservatives, especially those that say they're Christians, really, because this is how you get deceived. So be careful who you listen to. Take everything with a grain of salt. Whatever you're listening, whether it's from Candace Owens, your famous influencer podcast, take it to God. Pray about it. Ask God to give you a spirit of discernment. Discern what you're listening. Discern. So ask the Holy Spirit and God to give you discernment to see what spirit is operating behind these things that we're watching, behind certain people, and to also guard your heart. Because one thing I'm noticing is it's starting to affect a couple people. There's now an increase of anti-Jews rising here in the US. So many people are now hating Jews. And it's saddening because this is kind of reminding me what happened before World War II. I don't want the same thing that happened in Germany to happen here in the US. You guys got to read the Bible too. If you guys read also history as well, it will tell you that before the Holocaust happened, there was an increased influence and propaganda against the Jews. And the same thing that I'm seeing it happening right now. We have Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, all of them. They're saying things against Jews and against those that are supporting Israel and against anything that's Jews or Israel related. And this is worrisome. And we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And another thing I want to say that this is what also I got from Alex Clark that she exposed of Candace Owens tweet. If you look at this tweet that she shared, you can see that Candace Owens has been lying, and you have to be careful what she says. And yeah, she's gonna go to the podcast and say, "Oh, all these people are getting paid by Israel. Oh, they're sending these propagandas against me. Oh, they're saying these things to attack me." No, we're not saying these things to attack you. We're saying these things to expose you because you've been lying to us. You've been deceiving us. And I am not being paid by Israel. Like if somebody's paying, I mean, even if somebody's paying me to speak against her, I don't think I would take that money because that's not generous. That's not kind. I'm just doing it because I get this feeling in my spirit that she is not to be trusted. She is not to be trusted at all. You know. I want to share you guys a tweet that Alex Clark shared on X just to prove what I've been telling you guys in this video. So according to Candace Owens, she said that the interview happened a couple days after Charlie was murdered. That's false. That is proven to be false. It happened more than a couple days after Charlie Kirk was murdered. Another lie that Candace Owens said was she couldn't even speak to the press. I still haven't spoken to the press, actually. False. Lies. She lied, and she did, and she had, which is shocking. I'm not surprised. And another lie that Candace Owens also said was that she told him multiple times in the writing that she didn't want to talk about Charlie. And I showed you guys the screenshot that Ellie even asked if it was okay. And according to Candace Owens' rep, she agreed as long as it was talked in good faith. And that's been debunked. And another lie that Candace Owens says that via the CNN violated the request and asked about him once the camera was rolling. That was another lie. Via the rep, they agreed to do so. So this just shows that Candace Owens has been lying to you guys a lot. Has been lying to you guys. And you guys really need to fact check her. And we're not doing this, and I'm not doing this out of hate. I'm not doing this because I hate it. No, I used to like Candace Owens. I even have a book, not to make him a sandwich, but I think I have one about blackout. And I was reading it and I was listening to her. But I started noticing inconsistencies and gaps and holes through her podcast, even when she was on the Daily Wire and now on her own podcast, on her own show. I started seeing a lot of holes through her message. And that's why I was like, this girl is lying. This girl's been deceitful. This girl is lying to us. She's deceiving us. And you guys gotta think for yourself. So please, I'm begging you, don't just listen to her because she's been saying Christ is king and everything. No, I believe Christ is king. But my question is Christ her king? Is Christ her king in her life? Is he her king in her show and practice? I feel like it's one, Christ is king. Is Christ her king? Is Christ her king? That's my question. Just because she says she's a Christian, doesn't mean like you have to believe everything that she says. You gotta discern, you gotta test, and you gotta look at fruits. You gotta look at fruits. Look how she's been acting lately. It's like something's going on in her. Something's going on in her. I wonder if she's doing okay. I wonder if her marriage is doing okay. I wonder if she's doing okay. I mean, we gotta pray for her, but we also gotta tell her that she needs to stop lying and she needs to do research, not just things based on her feelings. If you know, you know. Because according to her, everything's fake and gay. Ugh. This is it for today. Please like and subscribe because this motivates me to do more videos about her and other people. Not to accuse them or to attack them or to, but no, that's not my whole point. My whole goal is to shine the light that's been buried, to expose the lies, especially from these influencers that we've put on trust into, that we've like put them even on pedestal for some of us. I mean, not me, but especially from these influencers that claim to speak the truth, that claim to be on our side, but are they really? So please like and subscribe. And this really motivated me to talk about these things and also other things on what's happening. So please like and subscribe and make sure to click that notification button and that bell. And I will always say, put God first, trust in Him, take everything with a grain of salt, put your life in Christ and focus and live for God and be blessed and stay holy and be holy and try to do good. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.